Lifestyle Radio 98.7 FM, a track called Straight Bars from Entitled there, who's one of the GL artists that will be performing at the GL Live X concert happening this April the 16th. And he's actually in the studio with our friend of the show, I'm now going to call him, Roger Moore. I want to say a big welcome to you guys. Hello.
Hi.
Hey. Thanks for joining me again. I quite like that track. Like, you're spitting some serious knowledge there. This is. So, a big welcome to you, Entitled. Is that how you like to be referred to?
Entitled, yeah, that's my artist name. Otherwise, Mike, but okay. Entitled, I don't mind.
Okay. Where did the inspiration for the name come from?
Well, to be honest, when I first chose Entitled a few years ago, it didn't really have much substance or much meaning behind it. You know, I kind of thought it just sounded nice and unique. But as I've grown as an artist, you know, I really began to look at the meaning of the word entitled. Yeah. And we see hip hop and how it's related and associated with negative things. And I feel that as Christians, we need to redeem genres such as hip hop, which are associated with negative things in the world. And I feel that, you know, we're entitled to do so as Christians, to use these genres that may be seen as, you know, not Christian-like, not Christ-like, but instead to redeem them for the glory of God.
I really like what you said there, because like many things, you know, people demonise certain things like money, for example, and it's not exactly the tool, it's the intent behind it, isn't it? So I think what you're kind of saying is, actually, the music isn't the problem, it's how it's used. Definitely.
I mean, music was created by God. So I'd say I really see music as a tool or a vehicle by which you can bring across a message. Yeah. And whether music is good or bad, it's purely determined by the message rather than the music itself.
Okay.
And so I think it's definitely something that Christians need to take hold of and feel some sense of ownership over music and genres such as hip hop.
Okay. Well, I must say, if I walked past you on the street, I'd have no idea all of this stuff was going on. You know, but you know, there's a lot. You are obviously a very talented artist. When did this all start for you? When did your passion for music and this calling begin?
Well, I'd say I've had a passion for listening to music for a while. But in terms of writing, I didn't start writing till I was around 14, 15, and that was kind of more poetry, and then started listening to beats, putting the lyrics to beats, then linking up with GL really helped me to grow as an artist, and really just develop me, and it enabled me to kind of use the ability that I had, but put some kind of resources to it to make something more substantial come out of it.
Now, Roger, I mean...
I need to go point it to me straight away.
I'm coming for you.
Okay.
I mean, it's obviously a very intelligent young gentleman that you've got yourself here. And I just want to find out more about how this relationship started, because last time you were on the show, Roger, we talked about how you nurture young people and the gifting within them. How did this happen? You know, was it across a coffee at Starbucks one day? What happened?
It was almost through a mutual person. When like Renee in it, and he came to the studio one time to drop some bars at time and whatever, and invited and then you kind of started coming to the prayer meetings and so on in it. And I think that I think the main thing is that we, as much as the community is big in Birmingham, it's very small at the same time. And you know, so some of the best business that you do, if you look at it from a business perspective, is word of mouth. You know, and when you kind of like doing stuff in a community and whatsoever, I haven't really advertised hardly any. I've never really said, guys, work with us, and I end up with like not only Michael but up to 50 young people around me. You know, and it's just good word of mouth. When you do stuff, you know, it kind of attracts people and so on. And sometimes being one of the few people that actually do something in Birmingham, it just stands out like a sore thumb. But it's just, you could say it was, you can go too divine and say, oh God, got this person to form, but you can just be real and just say we've got a small community and you do good things and everyone kind of points to your way.
Okay. And so when you came into the GL family, I mean, what were your first thoughts about what this was going to do for your gift and how you could develop as a person?
My first thoughts were, this is great. You know, I'm surrounded by people who have experience in this kind of thing, because obviously when I first came into music, I only knew how to write, and that was about it. I didn't really understand the culture around artistry, around music ministry. So I'd say being around more developed artists, also people who use their gifts such as producing, artistry, I think that really helped me to not only develop my talent, but also see the kind of serving spirit behind what we're doing. Because I'd say that GL and what we do, it's not just about, say, producing music. The music is really a byproduct of us aiming to serve the community and serve our listeners through producing great music.
Yeah, okay. Well, speaking of great music, we're going to play some more of your great music. I'm going to let you choose the track, and I'm just hoping that I've got it here. What do you want to play next?
I'd say Chronicles of Redemption.
Yes, you're in luck. Okay, so this one, I'm going to let you introduce it. What's this about?
So this song includes three short stories, and basically they describe how different people came to know Christ. And the message is basically, no matter where you're coming from, you're never too far away for Christ to rescue and redeem you.
Love that. This is Chronicles of Redemption by Entitled. Track called Chronicles of Redemption by Entitled. I like that one. Are you a fan of the big heavy hip hop beats?
Definitely, that's my genre.
That's your genre. So who are your influences growing up then musically?
Musically, wow. I'd say my first kind of experiences of music are the kind of gospel, rankanoli, those old school gospel guys, commissioned. But as I started choosing my own music, I kind of went for the Christian rap route. And I was first into UK Christian rap, so your Governor B's, your A-Stars. And then I got exposed to American Christian rap, particularly the guys like Lamp Mode. Roger introduced me to them. Timothy Brindle, Stephen the Levite. And they kind of come with that old school sound as well, that East Coast American hip-hop sound. And I'd say they influenced me the most.
Okay. Now, speaking of influence, this is the GL Live X, so it's the 10th edition of GL Live, and it's back after 5 years. And we were just talking in over the track, and understanding that you were there 5 years ago. Yeah. So this is the first time you're performing. How significant is that for you then? I mean, that must be a bit crazy to have watching it 5 years ago, and now you're going to be on stage supporting some of the big, massive US artists that Roger's brought over.
Yeah. To be honest, I didn't really look at it like that until today, and I'd say, I've come a long way in those 4 or 5 years. And again, getting involved with GL, I've been able to grow. It's not just like I've been a spectator and then I'm suddenly jumping on. Over those few years, I've been able to see the ins and outs and kind of the mechanics behind the nights that GL produce. And so I think that understanding was really important for me to have before I got on stage. So I'd say that the years between me first coming to a GL event and now me rapping at an event, they were the kind of years of me gaining an understanding and more knowledge into the process of the nights.
Okay. I mean, Roger, this is I think it's very significant, the fact that you as a younger guy 5 years ago and now being able to support. Is this what it's all about?
It 1,000%, because growing up, it sounds kind of weird. I was a musician and I almost had no hope, as a creative guy to be on any sort of stage alongside Americans, and we never really saw, little hope we did have. We have auditorium, we have Fred Hammond there, but it was a fight, scramble just to be supporting these guys. So for me, it's a case of I just didn't want to create a platform which was solely about Americans coming over and just plonking themselves on that stage and going back home. There's too much of that. That's been going on too long. It's about relationship, it's about interaction, it's about creating and respecting UK, and I think it's imperative. If you give them a chance, sometimes they literally will want to take over the whole night, but it's imperative that UK have a platform locally and nationally.
Definitely. Well, we're going to be talking more about this and the upcoming event that's happening on April the 16th at the Drum, and also getting your views on some of the things that are happening at the moment with the Drum closing as well. But we're going to go to an advert break first. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back to the Awakening Show on New Soul Radio 98.7 FM with me, Dana. I must say a big shout out to the Awakening team who are not here. Big shout out to Jackie J and Billy who are elsewhere this evening but here in spirit. But I'm not alone because I'm joined in the studio by Roger Moore and Entitled from GL Records. Welcome back, guys.
What's up?
Hey.
You know, I'm happy to be here too. Anyway. No, so just before the advert break, we were talking about the significance of the GL Live X concert being the first time you're performing, and you were there 5 years ago. One of the things I wanted to ask you was, you're a young man. Mm-hmm. Can I say your age?
19.
Okay, well, you say it. 19. Okay. So you're 19. I didn't realise you were that, young man. But this must have been a very influential group on you throughout your teenage years. What are some of the things you've really learnt as an individual?
Through GL, wow. So many things. The first thing I learned is kind of the importance of a community for accountability. So having Christians around you, young Christians as well, especially those who kind of have similar interests to you and are going towards a similar path as you. I'd say another thing I really learned, which I kind of touched on briefly before, was the serving aspect of things. Because I think, especially with artistry, with music, it's easy to forget that, you're still a servant. I think there's a saying, the greatest leaders are the best servants. So it's like no matter what position you're in, no matter what you're doing, whether it's music, whether it's work, it's always from a position of serving people and serving God. And I think that was really brought across through spending time with the GL crew.
I really like that, Roger. It's a very, do you see how I do that? I really like that. It's a very mature answer because sometimes when you think of music, the last thing you think of is service to your audience. Yeah. I mean, is that how you picture them? You're serving them when you're performing on stage?
I mean, definitely. I'd say when I first got into writing, it was all about really just showing people what I've got. So I never really thought about it as a serving thing, but then you think people are really nourished by your lyrics and by what they're hearing. So you've really been given a gift to use to give to other people. And something I'm still continually learning more about that process, but I've learned a lot through being around these guys.
Okay. And speaking of being around these guys, Roger, I mean, you're having this event at the Drum, which has been almost like a staple venue for you because a lot of your showcases and stuff. And we've had this really saddening news over the last week or so that it's due to close in 90 days. In
90 days? Hopefully not. I think that, to be honest, I've got hope, and I think that I've seen the petitions online and I just want us as a community to actually wake up, and I get criticised a lot for doing events at the Drum, believe it or not, because I could do better and maybe go to the more prestigious events in Birmingham or whatsoever. But it's about the community, and I think especially as growing up in a Christian church, which is seen as an organisation that doesn't support the community, that doesn't go into the community, that doesn't work with the community. It's imperative for me to be present in the community, and I feel that the Drum is a place for the community, and I would all day long prefer to do my events in the Drum, in the community, than to do it as a safe bet in a church, in a big church, which is very easy to do in my position. Easy way forward.
And I think that's such a good thing because it's so easy to, like you say, do it in a church, but then you're almost isolating certain members of the community, aren't you?
100%. And I think going back to the Drum thing, I think it's a wake up for us in the community, not only within Christians but non-Christians, to realise how many times do you go and support the community, support the Drum. But to realise if the Drum goes, what else is there left in the community that we can utilise? We have to realise that when you're in my position, approaching people of your origin is way more easier, than actually going to some of the other companies, which is way more harder. So it's easier, for a community to meet and to develop together. And my question is, how often do you support it? So I would say, get that petition, sign up, and actually, when it comes back, stop spending big money on Beyonce and all these guys that are coming over, and spend a little £10 and so on at the Drum, and go to the events and showcases there.
I mean, it's very not so much easy, but we say things like that. Don't spend the money on that that kind of artist. You know, spend it in your community. But I suppose when you know you're spending on an artist such as Beyonce, you're expecting a certain type of standard of production and quality of artistry. Do you think, has your organisation got a responsibility to develop your artists to that level, in order, because we're coming out, we're paying £10, but they've got to, you want them to grow and excel, don't you?
£1,000. I sometimes kick myself when I do charge £10 for the events that I do. You know, you've got like at the next event that we're doing, we're bringing over 3 American artists. We got about 10, 11 acts from the UK, and you're literally paying less than £1 per artist, and I'm like, hold on a second, you know what I'm saying? A Twix is almost £1, you know what I mean? You know, so if you go to buy a big size Twix, it's 80p. So I'm like, hold on a second, you have to also balance out. But we do have a strong focus on quality. There's 100% that, and we try to do the best we can with what we got. But we need the community to come out and support and enable us to go to another level. You know, and that's why communities in America have excelled, because not everywhere, but a lot of their communities support each other and they have big communities over there, and has pushed them into a position of being able to push the artists to a level of commerciality nationally.
But I also feel like they've raised the standard of gospel music, haven't they? The gospel, urban and commercial gospel. It's at a production level now, which is kind of not mainstream, but it's a
mainstream quality. Mainstream quality. I think technology has helped as well. When I started in the studio, it was very expensive doing stuff 20 years ago, doing my drum and bass tracks and getting the studio time and whatsoever. Home production now is at another level. You know, we have our own studio. A lot of people have their own studios, and I think that when people got the gift, the talent and the experience of certain people around them, you can do as good, you know what I mean? But no one will actually recognise the difference in quality. But what's happening now, quality stuff are coming from people's bedrooms. Yeah,
very true. I'm so surprised when I see certain things that come out of people's bedrooms. Now, entitled, did this EP come out of your bedroom by any chance?
No. Written in my bedroom but recorded in the studio.
Say that again, sorry?
Written in my bedroom but recorded in the studio.
Okay, I'm just asking because, you know, it's very good quality. Not saying it sounds bedroom music. This is going very wrong. So I'm just going to go straight to the track. So the next track we're going to play is...
Mystery.
Okay, tell us the inspiration behind this one.
Okay, so the inspiration is kind of deciphering as to why Christ came to earth. What was the reasons? When he came to earth, a lot of people didn't expect him to come so lowly, is the word. They expected him to come as a rich king, and that wasn't the case. So it's exploring the reasons why Christ really came to earth.
Okay, well, you heard it there. So the next track is from Entitled. This one's called Mystery. There you go. Oh yes, I like the Old Testament. I'm eyes by a mystery. Track called Mystery from our guest this evening, Entitled, part of the GL Records family. It's not GL Records, it's GL360, isn't it?
Yeah, both. I think GL Records is like a franchise, like almost like a mini franchise for what we do in terms of musically, and it's almost like a like official, like people see that as more as a music thing, you know what I mean? But GL360 family is what we just cool with.
Okay, GL360 family. Well, it's a lovely family, I must say. I mean, we've only got a few minutes left, so I want to talk about a few things. Where we're going to get you? Where do we find you, Entitled?
You can catch me on Twitter at Entitled Music, Instagram Entitled Music, my Facebook page Entitled.
So basically, just look for Entitled Music.
Yeah, you'll find it.
You'll find it. Yeah. But what about your music? How can we get entitled to the music? You know, are you on SoundCloud? How do we download it?
If you go on GL360 SoundCloud, you'll be able to find all of my music there. I also have one song on iTunes called Good Isn't Good Enough.
Okay.
So you can also purchase that for 79p.
Oh yeah, support. 79 pence. That's less than a Twix. Yeah. Okay. Less than a Twix. Okay, so SoundCloud. We'll announce that all again a bit later. But let's talk quickly now about the event that's happening next. Not Saturday coming, the Saturday afterwards. Yeah. This has just like crept up
I know.
It's gone so fast.
I know. I'm almost like this now. Oh, giving up, man. Let's just get this show over and done with.
I mean, what's the buzz like? It must be crazy in the camp.
It's like, it's a weird one. I have a great expectation about the event. I think I do, in my heart of hearts, don't think people are almost ready for what's about to happen, to be honest, and I'm working on some of the stuff. Watch out, keep out an eye on our Instagram. We're going to be putting out clips of what they were doing on the live band situation. So you got artists, going to be live band going on with the American acts, and they're going to come with a whole live production. It's going to be a massive production. It's got 2.5 hours to 3 hours worth of artists on the night. It's going to be absolutely jam-packed, but the beauty of it, you can see all the international artists, but it's by our local people, and I think that but the buzz is great, my core feeling is that I don't think people are actually ready for what's about to happen.
I'm not sure, I'm just like...
They're going to turn up like whatever, and they're going to come out like...
The quality, I must admit, is 10 out of 10, if not more. Like, artists like yourself, Entitled, like... it's the knowledge that's coming through, the artistry and the production is just amazing. Are you excited about being on that stage?
Definitely. I'm excited to be able to share my music with so many people, and I'm excited to hear all the other artists that will be performing on the night as well. That's
another question I have for you. So speaking of the other artists, how do you what's the camaraderie like?
I'd say amongst all the local artists, the Birmingham artists, and particularly those within the GL camp, I maintain a strong relationship with them, and again I've grown with them, learned from their artistry and vice versa. But I'd also say with the artists outside of Birmingham, outside of GL, the likes of David B, Faith Child, who'll be hosting the event, I'd say also collaborating with them for events as well in the past. For example, the Last Affinity has also helped to develop a relationship which will hopefully grow over the years.
Okay, so Roger, let's talk straight event. What's happening? Where is it? How do we get tickets? Where do we find it?
All the details there. Definitely hashtag GRLiveX. You can check out the event on Facebook. I think definitely it's going to be at the Drum, the 16th of April. 6:30, doors open. Event will start not too far after 7 o'clock. Where to get tickets? You can buy the tickets on the door. So if there's a last minute scramble, tickets will be available on the door. Definitely. That will be happening, but at the same time, if you want to buy it early and make sure your ticket's sorted out at the Drum, you can maybe hit us up on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, to ask where you can get tickets from. A bit more detail if you want a different source. But the main thing is from the Drum box office, available online. But again, on the day you can come on a day and just get ready to enjoy the day itself. But the event's gonna be and what I want to see more of is that people like I'm coming into my 40s now, and I know people like hip hop who's my age, and I think that it'd be great for you to actually bring your children to experience something which has music which you enjoy, as well as music that they enjoy at the same time as well. So it's almost a family event at the same time. You can bring your children along. It's not just about sending your children to an event for young people, but it's about just having a good time out with your family, and being blessed by everybody and being there to there's not many family events which you can be happy with the content that's coming from stage for your children, a positive message.
And speaking of message, Entitled, why would you encourage people to come along, apart from the fact that you're actually going to be on stage?
I'd encourage people to come along because it's not every day you get gospel events that are of such a good quality with such a range of artists and for such a good price. So all those things combined, it's definitely going to be a great night and you don't want to miss out.
So you've heard it straight from, I don't like that term, the horse's mouth.
Oh, no, it's like...
Big mule, like, no. Straight from the GL family themselves. So that's GL Live X happening down there at the Drum, Saturday, April the 16th. That's 144 Potters Lane, Aston. Make sure you come out and support this because, like we said, it's supporting community, it's supporting local artistry, it's supporting talent, homegrown talent, and nobody's going to give us a platform if we don't create one for ourselves. Make sure you come down and support that. Tickets are £10 7.50 concessions, and you can get tickets from the box office. Just call 0121 333 2444. That's 0121 333 2444. Or you can visit the Drum website. That's www.the-drum.org.uk. Look for GL360 as well on Facebook, on Twitter, and on Instagram. Yeah, hashtag GLLiveX. I think I'm giving it out all the information now. We've got one last track to play from you. I've saved this to the last. And this one's called Beautiful Exchange. So tell me a bit about this one.
So it's basically talking about how Christ took our sin upon himself, even though he was sinless, and died on the cross. And in return, we got righteousness from him. So it's just talking about the beautiful exchange that comes through Christ's death and resurrection.
Amen. I love this. So deep. So deep. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for coming on. It's been a pleasure to have you. Roger, you will be back again next week, won't you?
Yeah, with the tribe, I would say.
With the tribe. So make sure we're doing an Awakening special next week with the whole American crew. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's from New York to Birmingham. I was going to try and rhyme, but it didn't work. But make sure you stay tuned after the news, because we've also got the Aston Performing Arts Academy family coming to talk to us about their events that are happening this month also, and telling us why arts matter. But before we go into all of that, I'm going to play out this half of the show with a track called Beautiful Exchange from Entitled. Sorted.
Brilliant.
Thank